Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to V is for Build. A little bit different episode than normal today. We're completely off schedule, we're completely off base, but we're gonna get it together and we're gonna get some work done. Today we're gonna be playing with engine placement stuff, I think. Read the title, that's what we did. Stay tuned. So things have been a little hectic around here. For the last 3 days, we've been filming mods on Chelsea's M5 for an episode that's gonna air a little bit later. And it's all gone really good. Chelsea's actually wrapping up the last little mod right now, but it's taken a ton of time and actually took a little bit of time out of our day-to-day. So it's gonna put us a little bit behind schedule, but we'll try our best. I think Chelsea's out there wrapping up the last little thing right now. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. Chelsea's pretty much right in the middle now of doing her license plate mounting mod. She wants one of the kind of tow hookup mounts, but when it's mounted over there on the side like that, it gets knocked off axis really easily, but she'll get it figured out. It's looking really, really good. I wish I could show you guys the rest of the car. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last few days, and I have not spent any time in here. So it's time to switch gears, get back on the Datsun project, and figure out what we're doing. I know that we need to go ahead and get the frame switched over, so we're gonna do a 90-degree switch with the frame, move the rear subframe, move the front subframe, get them positioned kind of close to the body, and then that way we can start thinking about moving the engine over. I wanted to give you guys an insurance update. We have not gotten any numbers back from them as far as compensation amounts, but things are continuing on, and I should hear back this week about the numbers, the valuation of the 240 and other things like that. I've ordered a new garage door that should be here tomorrow, and we have decided that we are 100% going to replace this body. This shell is going to be replaced. So that does mean that I am in the market for a 240 body. Any 240Z, it's got to be a 70 to 73 240Z that has super clean body. So you guys know the parts that I'm keeping because it's hanging right there. But that's what I'm looking for. So you guys hit me up with the email, Chris@VSForBuild, if you know of a good one. I'm looking for a pretty good deal. I don't really want to spend like $3K just for a body, but maybe anything prior to that. And please don't email me with 280s, 260s, 1980s. That's not the model we're looking for. Very specific here. It has to be 70 to 73 240Z. All right, let's get to work. I'm gonna start by switching this frame direction, make it the longitudinal. Yeah, science. All right, we got stuff starting to get laid out here. I'll be really honest with you guys, I'm kind of running out of time. I got about 3 hours left. It's 7 o'clock right now. I'm gonna work till about 10 o'clock tonight. But hey, I'd be working doing this stuff regardless one way or another. I figured better to film it and just put it out there, give you guys something to watch rather than just giving up now and packing it in. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna power on, no breaks, no nothing for 3 more hours. What we get is what we get. The goal for me is to get the front subframe in where it goes, have the body sitting where it's supposed to go, which is actually where it is right now. You can see that the strut towers are inside the cutouts. And then we want to get the engine over here, cut out this support, lower the engine down, and see what kind of blockers, what does the picture look like with the front subframe stuck in here and the engine trying to stick itself in here. I want to see what this whole area looks like. So that's the goal. Now, next step to accomplish that goal, I need to go ahead and grab that front subframe and scoot it on over here and bolt it up into our frame. All right, we got our front subframe mounted back into the car. This is perfect. So this is going to tell us basically, where the things that are going to screw up our engine placement are exactly. But obviously this bar running across here is going to screw up our engine placement. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut this off, cut it down to size and re-weld it in where it's inside that cabin chunk that we're going to cut out anyways. Let me repeat that. The cabin chunk that we're going to cut out anyways. Yeah, I want to still have some of that cross bracing in there. So I figured I'll cut it there, cut it down to size, weld it back in. Also, these engine mounts right here, well, they're not going to be there. We're going to have to relocate these further back. So I'm going to go ahead and pop those off as well. All right, I got that support bar moved back and a little bit shorter and welded back in. We took the motor mounts out of the front subframe. Sorry, engine mounts, not motor mounts. I don't know, either way. So my guess is that this power steering, well, this is the steering rack actually. My guess is that this is gonna be a real hang up and a big problem for the engine. But let's find out first. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and at least take this little metal shield off. That heat shield, I'm gonna take that off. And then it's time to go ahead and try and get that giant engine and wheel it on right through there and over to here and see if we can get it to straddle right inside that frame rail. Ran into a small problem. Well, honestly, two small problems. One is I set the car up in the shop completely the wrong way. We don't normally have this much space in the back, so it's like way too far forward, but we can work around that. The other problem is that the front subframe is too low to the ground for this engine hoist to slide in under it right there where it needs to get in under it. So I'm gonna go ahead, Jesus, I can't talk. I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna grab one more cinder block. We're gonna put them on their side. And so on all four of those cinder blocks, we're gonna get an extra lift, boost the whole thing up, raise the body up a little bit more. Everything's gonna go up one width of a cinder block. Well, we're getting it together. It's starting to work. You can see that I used different, I wasn't able to use full-size cinder blocks, so I used some those rubber things off of my quick jack, and that seemed to have worked. But now I'm hung up on my cross brace. That feels bad. So I need to go ahead and remove that, even though it was fresh. It's freshly installed. I need to unweld it. So I'm gonna come in there, go ahead and cut those welds off, pop that out, and that'll allow me to keep kind of sliding this thing down. Now, a lot of you guys were commenting on how much we're gonna be sitting on the transmission of this car, and you know, sometimes that is an issue with building a crazy car, but don't get too ahead of yourselves. We don't know the height of the body yet onto these frame rails, so we don't know exactly how much that's gonna be in the cabin, but also we can sit further back and stuff like that. So far I don't see a huge problem. It's a pretty small transmission for the size of the engine and the package. It's really not that big, but yeah, I'm gonna cut that thing out and then I'm gonna hit the lower button on that and we'll see what happens. All right, well, we got this thing in there, and man, lots of things going through my head. First thing is, I don't think that this is impossible to pull off. And you know what? Engines are always a tight fit, so that's what's going on. Our engine hoist, it goes diagonally across the engine, so it's when I loosen that side up to try and level it out, it's letting that side of the engine sag. So you're going to see the engine's actually tilted like this quite a bit. But we can still get a picture of what's going on. So you have engine mount 1 is right here, and that's underneath the frame rail level. Coming over here, engine mount is clear above it. So that's the amount of tilt that we have on it. The engine is pretty much as close to the firewall as I want to get it. And with that being the case, the steering rack connecting rod section right here is, right now we have a couple inches of clearance, but it's going to get really, really close to this alternator here. So that's something that is interesting. So far not like a huge blocker, but it's interesting. Now the rest of the components, I'll try and show you guys as well as I can. The rest of the components are getting really, really close to that steering rack up front here. Now the front of this still needs to come down some, so we got some oil lines that run to the sump system and some other things like that. Maybe those shouldn't be upside down. I don't know. I should probably get those to a better spot. But anyways, it's all in my design. When I did my measurements, there was just enough room for this to sit behind here. And you can see it's actually not behind here. It's like it's right on top of it. So that's basically the main issue that we're going to be fighting with. Now that the motor mounts aren't in there, it's not as tall as before. And I just thought of something that makes a little bit of sense to me, but let me know what you guys think. I don't think it'll change anything. If we took the steering rack is this guy right here, and we lowered it down. So if we dropped it down like an inch or an inch and a half, it still wouldn't be the lowest part of the car. This car is designed to have this thing right here. That's normally the lowest part of the car. If we drop down the steering rack about an inch to an inch and a half, I don't think it would really affect too much as far as how it operates, because it just pushes and pulls this guy into the knuckle. And the sway bar looks like that may be an issue, but we could do more tests around that. But other than that, so if we could drop that down, that would give us total clearance for right here. That would give us more room for the engine and the other engine auxiliary items. A lot of people have said get rid of it and use an aftermarket one, but BMW has some black magic in their car's ECU, and it will know if we get rid of it, and it will throw the car into limp mode. So we have to, this is kind of a whole package deal. We have to use everything from the car or basically nothing from the car, and we're going the everything route. So it kind of fits, but it kind of doesn't. I don't know how, oh God, this is a little scary on here. I don't know how centered the transmission is, but you can see it does leave room for your kind of standard space that you would have to operate pedals. Maybe it's a little cramped, but it's definitely not too bad if you're just sitting right here. The thing that I would worry about is fitting a seat between right here and right here. Probably not going to be able to fit a very large seat. We might have to custom make some seats. Which is a bummer because I wanted to use the BMW seats because they are fancy. They're heated and cooled. Yeah, there's definitely more room over on that side. So, if we shove it over a little bit, we might get a little bit more room, but who knows? That might be a sacrifice that we have to make. But how cool would it be to be looking out the windshield and see that? Overall, I think we're going to be able to make this work. I know it's a little bit late in the game to start saying that now. A lot of money invested in this project, but I think this front mid-engine setup will be able to work. It's going to be tricky. I really wish that this front cross-section was a few inches more forward because it's really a bummer that it's landing, like all the auxiliaries are landing right on top of there. But I think that we can just get them as close as they can possibly be, and that height of the engine will be okay. I think so. It'll be interesting to figure out. Look how short the driveline is going to be. It's going to be so tiny. Oh, but I'm glad I got it in there. That was tough, but it's good. It's good that we can get it in here. We can test fit it now and see how these things are going to look. I think for the motor mounts, we're going to plan like another essentially something like another subframe that will bolt into the bottom of this thing here and run across, because the engine actually has like a section right there that's notched out for it. That'll run across, and then we'll have the two stock OEM motor mounts, engine mounts bolt up into that. So that's something that I can start designing and looking at how to build right away. All right, guys, it is 10 o'clock, so I'm gonna jet home and start editing. Eric is scheduled to be here the day after tomorrow, so I think I might spend tomorrow on the 370Z. I apologize about not unboxing the wheels. I completely forgot, but tomorrow we'll go get tires put on those wheels and we'll get those wheels on the Z, so that'll be really fun. I wanted to let you guys know, I've already let you know, but I want to remind you that Chelsea and I are going to take a little break coming up here soon, short break. We're road tripping her M5 down to California for Beamerfest. So we're going to be down at Beamerfest on the Saturday that Beamerfest is going on. I'm not exactly sure our time frame, but I'll let you guys all know on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to meet up with us there, if you want to see us come by, take pictures, do whatever you guys might want to do, and just hang out, I will be there, and I'd love to meet you all. So if anybody wants to come by, I know nothing about the event at all. I've never been, but there's information on Facebook and stuff like that. And it's called Beamerfest. So if you want to hang out, I will be there on that Saturday, and I will post all the information on our Facebook and Instagram. So that'll be fun. We're just taking a short break or whatever. Hopefully we're still gonna post and stuff while we're out and different things like that. So it shouldn't be too much of a break from the regular, but I will definitely take a couple days off just to hang out and have a small vacation with Chelsea. Probably be a 2-dayer. I think we both have to get back to work. She has a real job, and I gotta slam V10s into tiny little old Japanese things. Today, the day you guys are watching this, Cletus and I are going to be streaming. We're going to play some Fortnite. We're going to do a little Fortnite collab. So if you're watching this around the time that it comes out, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, Cletus and Chris with computers getting coffee. Minus the coffee, adding kills. We're gonna be gaming. I doubt anybody's stuck around through this outro long enough to hear that. But so yeah, Beast for Build on Twitch. We're on there. I'm on there. Anyways, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.